Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who have some badass music for two reasons. One is the music itself. Everybody knows I have a huge passion for good music, but I'm also a motivational speaker, so I really love the message, even of the name of the band. So let's welcome to the show, The Mourning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
You know what I love about the name of your band is that it's so typical of people that don't know this kind of music would look at that name and think it's something negative, dark, depressive. And why don't you tell them what it really means?
Yeah,
You go for it, Johnny.
The mourning is about mourning the state of the world and mourning the place that humanity is in right now.
I love that because
but it's not just mourning, right, Johnny?
Well, go on. What do you want to say?
Oh, I mean, it's not just mourning, but it's also like, the message is that like you can build a better society and
For sure.
build each other up. And
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, here's the proof of your message, because your message basically is, music and art can bring us all together. And so I believe that. I believe it wholeheartedly.
100%. Like that's a big thing that I talk about. I talk about this quite often, and I'm like, musicians are the peacekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
Artists are the peacekeepers. They're the people, the glue of society. They're the ones that, when somebody has a really bad day of work, they blast some metal or something afterwards, so they don't end up going the next day and going postal. It gets their anger out, their aggression out.
I say that about mosh pits.
Yeah, that's true. People
don't understand. I probably would have killed some people if I didn't have mosh pits in my life. And it's not about what everybody thinks it is. You don't go in there to hurt and maim people. In fact, I hate the people that go in and try to do that. I try to take them out. Okay?
Those guys really have problems.
No doubt.
Everyone's very quick to make sure to stop those people if those people do come around.
It's funny you bring that up because a friend of mine, she just posted a story that she had a bruise, and I know she just went to this big, it's called FYA Fest. She just went to this festival in Orlando, and I was seeing some videos from this place, and it was chaos. And I asked her, I was like, oh, please don't tell me it was a crowd killer, because that's what they call them. They call them crowd killers. They're these guys that will just run around and like punch all the people on the outside. The people who are trying to stay out of the mosh pit, they just literally get sucked. And this guy,
I hate those dude,
punched her right in the face, broke her glasses, made her almost want to cry. And her boyfriend saw it happen, and his arm was broken, so he couldn't do anything about it.
Wow.
For her.
What I love that I saw, I think it was at Download 2 years ago. Pretty sure it was. And I was in, I think it was the Bring Me to Horizon pit. And there was this super big dude. Like, I hate those dudes because usually they're the dickheads, okay?
Yeah.
They just go in like, I'm a big shot and I can beat up you little dudes, type of thing. And not for nothing, but not in the pit when it comes to me. I'm a little dude, and I'll come around like you won't even see me coming. I'll come lunge up like Mike Tyson from underneath you and elbow you as I go, and I'm on the other side of the pit before you even know.
Uppercuts are no fun.
Right. Yeah. So This guy, I mean, he was super big, and you could tell he was targeting people. So this other dude that was big, not as big as him, but big enough, took him out of the pit, like literally.
Ooh.
Like
Wow.
went in and started blocking him, and then made sure he was out of the pit, and then once he was out, he like blocked him to make sure he couldn't get back in the pit.
Yeah.
And I was like, right on, man, because that's not what the pit's about.
Well, that's how
Yeah,
I get too. I had one guy at a show a few years back. Well, more than a few years back. It's probably at least 15 years ago. This guy was doing the whole donkey kick thing.
Oh,
where
I
he's
hate
just,
that
like
one
kicking
too.
behind him indiscriminately. Well,
Yeah.
you know what I did? I put my size 10 shoe right up his ass. I
Nice.
kicked him directly in the ass.
I love it.
Fuck
Oh man, that's
That's
great.
hilarious.
That's great.
Wow.
I hate the flailing and all that stuff. You know.
Oh yeah,
Well, you know, they're gonna have some
fighting
serious shoulder
invisible
problems.
ninjas. That's what they call it, fighting invisible ninjas.
Yeah, yeah.
And they look stupid.
Yeah.
It-
And
it
they're
looks-
gonna
it does look
have
stupid.
some serious shoulder problems when they get older.
oh yeah, no doubt. Well,
I know I sound like an old man saying that your shoulders are
Listen,
hurt, but
I just had a neck injection yesterday because I'm going to cover Shiprocked, and you know I need
Nice.
to headbang, and my neck's so fucked up from headbanging since 1980.
heard that, bro. Heard that.
When is Shiprocked? When
It's
is
in a
it?
couple weeks. It's
Oh, is it
on-
the same time as 70,000 Tons of Metal?
It's right before it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Although
right-
that
me
one
and
first.
Johnny are going to be on 70,000 Tons of Metal.
and I was thinking of doing coverage for that one, and I'm like, do I really want to go on a cruise, get off one, and get right back on a cruise?
The
you
answer
know?
is yes.
Yeah, usually it would
70,000
be
Tons
yes.
of Metal is the best, man.
I'm gonna have to check it out. If
you never
not
done
this
it?
year, next year I'll have to. But I go on tour and I do all the festivals here
Right.
in the U.S., UK, Europe, and I'm like on my off season, so I'm trying not to because come
Right.
April,
Yeah.
from
late
April till
spring
November,
and-
I won't
Yeah.
have any free weekends.
Yeah.
And now, like post-COVID, these festivals are 4 and 5 days long, every one.
Right. Right.
You know,
Mm.
it's what a difference too. Jumping
Yeah.
just from 3 days to 4 days, we talk about it all the time. It's like, oh my God, that's like that one extra day is what puts you over the top.
I mean, 70,000 Tons of Metal is 5 days, so there's
Yeah,
that.
and Shiprocked is almost 7 days.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was longer. I thought it was the same.
Yeah, and then there's the pre-party for Shiprocked.
Right.
And then-
yeah. Same with
So
70K.
after COVID, I was at the Hellfest. That was 2 weekends long. It was 7 days.
Yes. Hellfest is nuts.
That was pretty badass because it was separated. It wasn't 7 days in a row. And
Right.
I rented an Airbnb over on the coast, and I went surfing during the week and moshing
When was
on
that?
the weekend. That was the first Hellfest after COVID lockdown.
I think that's the one Todd played.
Really?
Was Queensryche there?
I think so.
Yeah, because my buddy
There was
Todd,
like
my buddy
360 bands.
My buddy
Was that the
Todd's
one-
the singer.
Was that
and,
the one
he-
that?
yeah, it was
Oh, sorry,
like
go for it.
50,000 people he played.
Well,
for. It
Hellfest
was
is always.
insane.
Hellfest always has like that many people. Was that the one? Do you remember if that's the one that Demons and Wizards headlined or one of the headliners?
I don't think that was they were a headliner.
Okay, it was probably the one before. that. I think-
Metallica headlined it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
They had Gojira. Like
Right.
that was insane seeing Gojira in their home country. Like
Yeah.
it was insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we gotta
it's-
get
it's-
you guys at Hellfest.
I mean, hey, if you know,
I mean,
if you know,
twist
who
my
to,
arm.
if you know
Say
who we
that-
should talk to,
I could probably get you an email of whoever does the booking.
I would
be
appreciate that.
great.
Then,
It would be
then,
very
then we
much
could
appreciated.
look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
We'll make it happen.
I have close ties with Bloodstock and Download.
Oh, bro, get me. I played Bloodstock in 2019.
Oh,
I would love to go back.
not in this band though.
No, I played it with my band Three-Headed Snake.
I think I saw part of your set because like I'll sneak
Really?
out of media and catch sets of bands I haven't seen. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's the whole point of a
I
festival.
was in the second tent, the big one, the big tent.
Was that the year that Machine Head was the surprise band that played in the tent?
I don't know. It was the year that Dying Fetus played, because what happened was Dying Fetus got rained out and we got all their people spilled over into our tent because it started raining. So everybody came in the tent. So the tent was packed front to back.
Nice.
I would love to play Bloodstock again.
You couldn't have planned that any better.
No, that was a blessing, dude. It was packed.
Bloodstock is a killer festival, and what I also love about Bloodstock is, you know, going back to what we were talking about before, like they do the Sophie Lancaster stage, and they do all the stuff for Sophie Lancaster. For those listening that don't know, you know, she was a goth metalhead, and her boyfriend got jumped leaving the show, and she got killed. Her boyfriend, you know, by luck of something, survived. And so they do something at that festival every year, and they even have the one day that's Pink Day, where everybody wears pink in honor of Sophie Lancaster. And I think that's so cool, because that is the message we have to send, that this stuff goes on. You know, we're talking a lot in the world. There's a lot of bad and hate, okay? But there's not a lot of talk of hate against goths and metalheads and punks.
That gets overlooked.
Yeah, totally.
Because they're the subculture, and people don't care as much about the subculture.
Exactly.
There's there's a lot of community in it too. Like I remember when I was walking in to go play, we were walking through like the back field area into the entrance and into the back entrance, and there was somebody just sitting there, and they had a blanket, and they had all of these belt buckles that were laid out. And I was like, "Oh, are you selling these?" He goes, "No, I'm giving them away because my deceased friend made all of these, and I wanted people, the metal people, to have them. So I still have it sitting on my shelf. It's just it's like the Avenged Sevenfold bat that's made out of I don't know what's made out of pop metal or something that this guy made, and his friend ended up with all of it and gave it out to the people there, so his friend could live on with all the other metalheads, you know.
That's way amazing. Cool.
Yeah,
I love
super cool.
Because we are a big family, and to the point of your band, okay, listen, I think people are so pissed off and angry after COVID because we had 2 years of no live music. There's no outlet. And you know, you go to these major festivals, metal festivals in particular, and there are no outsiders. There is no hate. We're one big family. And it's really definitely something that the rest of the world could learn from, to be honest, you know, because it's funny too. I had one weekend several years ago that I had to cover 2 festivals in one weekend. And so obviously I couldn't be at one of them. So I had somebody that was working for me. I was sending her. She was a country girl, and she had never been to a rock show, much less a metal show.
Wow.
And so I sent her, and I told her ahead of time, I'm like, listen, because she was all scared. And I'm like, listen, you're going to love this. It's not like going to your country shows where rednecks are getting drunk and beating the shit out of each other, okay?
It's not like that. No.
You're going to find no fights. It's rare that there's a fight.
Everyone is super nice.
Everybody's going to hug you, and everybody, you know, you'll probably meet some dude, and you'll make all these new friends, and you'll see
most of these big burly dudes have a kitty at home, and they love petting their kitty.
It's so funny because there's one of the other media guys I'm really good friends with, and he's a big dude, and he's always posting on his Facebook about his kitty
cat,
all the time. You know, and he is like this just big cuddly bear, you know. It's really how it is. So she goes, and she comes back, and she's like, "Oh my God, you were so right. Like, I have all these new friends, and I met a guy, and he's my boyfriend now, and I have this favorite new band. They're called Bring Me the Horizon." I'm like,
never heard of them. Never
I'm like,
heard
yeah, I
of them.
think I heard of them.
Yeah.
You know, and
You're not the only one whose favorite band that is. There's a lot of people's
Right.
favorite bands.
well, you know what's cool about Bring Me the Horizon, and I think that's who you should tour with, just because of the meaning of your band name. Because I think Ollie has some of the best lyric writing that I can relate to ever. Like, he's got one line that is my favorite line in any song ever, because it's so good, and that's I can't drown my demons, they know how to swim. And I'm like, that's so
good.
fucking deep.
Yeah.
And he wrote that song in rehab, like locked up, you know?
Yeah.
And it's amazing, like, what is going on in his brain that he can transfer into a song that, like, so many people can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's why I like you guys, because right off the bat, the whole message, because I'm a big believer in that. Music and art is the great uniter.
Yep.
It is. That's why they say music soothes the common savage beast. And, you know, it's funny. I'll tell a funny story. That happened just recently. I met some girl on Tinder or something, and I'm talking to her. And you know, I always talk about, you know, what music do you like? Because if they don't like metal or punk, it's an automatic, you're disqualified, because they don't understand. It's not just about they don't like the music. They don't understand.
Yeah.
You know? It's deeper than that.
At least they got to be open to it.
Right. It's deeper than that. So this girl, she's a yogi. So she's supposed to be all zen and peaceful and stuff and spiritual. And she starts telling me, yeah, if I listen to metal music, then it makes me want to throw things, destroy things, and get very violent. And I just said to her, then that's a you problem, not the music problem, because it doesn't make me want to do that.
It's true. She needs to just throw on some Enya and have a good day.
I know, right? Like, and she's like, namaste to me. I'm like, don't give me that fake namaste stuff. If you're telling me that you can't even control your emotions from a song to not beat the shit out of someone.
Well, I think somebody like that should listen to metal, because they need to, like, have those impulses and learn how to control them.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. You know, it's kind of like Dexter.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have the code.
Yeah.
But I agree with you wholeheartedly. You know, like, if it's easy to control yourself when everything's calm and everything's good. Like, anybody can do that. But, like, to me, metal doesn't do that to me. Metal gives me this positive, euphoric feeling and gets me pumped up and my adrenaline.
Yeah, exactly.
Pumping.
It's the opposite. It if anything, it tames the physical.
No doubt.
Yeah.
You know,
or emotional. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Okay, so this year, or 2024, I was covering Riot Fest, and ended up a few days before Riot Fest, my grandson passed away. So I had a lot of emotions, obviously, and not good ones.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. But here's what happened. I left the funeral and flew to Riot Fest and went in the Slayer pit and basically took every negative emotion I had and just left it in that pit. And that's
there you go.
Exactly.
Catharsis, man.
Especially the pit. Super catharsis.
No doubt.
Cathartic in the pit.
No doubt about it. So let's talk about Hush album.
Yes.
But first, before we want to talk about that, I want to say, Alex, your story is great because, like, I love that you were an engineer that ended up in the band.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Tell everybody how that happened.
Okay, so let's see. I actually, speaking of 70,000 Tons of Metal, that's where I met Johnny. What year was it, Johnny? 2020?
It was the end of 2019 into 2020. It was the December 30th, 2019.
No. 70K is not on December. It's in January.
Remember that year? That year was like the maybe it was January 1st. Then I thought
mid-January.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like right after the first. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
2020.
every year I go on 70,000 tons of metal for geargods.net. Me and my buddy Trey. We do geargods.net for anyone who knows it. And I met Johnny there through a mutual friend of ours, Brittany. And we just hit it off. We were all into the same bands. Mostly we were talking about Symphony X. And our love for Russell Allen, but just other like prog bands in general. And I think Johnny, you asked me a little bit later if we wanted to like just it wasn't even in the morning. I think we were just working on a song together, like an original.
Yeah, well, it was during the pandemic, during the 6-week shutdown. And I hit him up. I'm like, bro, I'm so bored. You want to write some music? And he's like, yeah, I'm also bored. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of got started. And then from there, Johnny asked me if I could mix his the album Hush. They'd already recorded it, but they wanted the mix to really be the best it could be. And so over the pandemic, we it took a while to like kind of get all the files over and everything I needed. And I produced the album, mixed it. I ended up doing a lot more than just mixing. Like there's a lot of stuff that kind of got tweaked. Some stuff got cut, reamped. Yeah, some stuff got cut, some stuff got added. A lot of producer stuff to make something that is my best. How do I describe this? My best interpretation of what Johnny's vision was. Like,
nice.
I tried to understand what Johnny was going for the best I possibly could, and then did the mix, the production, everything based on trying to achieve that vision in the eyes of people listening.
I even find that in radio, like my engineers, there's engineers that I've had throughout all the years that, I don't have to tell them anything. They just know me so well. And then there's others that I feel like I have to explain everything, and that's frustrating. You want somebody that can kind of get in your head, or you get the ones that they're all ego and they just want to do it their way. And that doesn't work for an artist.
Yeah, I've been in that situation as an artist where I've been with a producer, well-known producer, has produced bands before. And I just didn't realize that he just wanted to do it one very specific way, his way. It wasn't about, okay, what are they trying to achieve?
Right.
What can I do to help them achieve that? It wasn't like that at all. It was like, no, they came to me because they want exactly my vision, and everything has to conform to that, which was, maybe some bands do want that. But that wasn't what we wanted. And that was I found that one out the hard way. But me personally, I'm more about, I want to make what you're giving me the best it can be based on what you want it to be. Yeah,
that's the way it should be. The artist should always be the artist.
Yeah. So and then that's how it happened. And then after that, I've been in like touring bands, toured around the world previously with Witherfall, and Johnny was asking me a lot of advice, like, what should I do to market this? How do I, this is the first album for this band, right? So, I just started helping him out here and there more and more. And then eventually he was like, we got to do music videos, right? So then then I flew to Florida to film the music videos. 3 or 4 of the music videos are all filmed and directed by me. Yep. That's why I'm not in a lot of them, except one of them. It's because I was behind the camera doing the
plus
filming.
It was that was really ultimately before you
that was before I actually joined the band. And then
the one that you're in is Chaos Machine.
Yes. And then eventually
is a good one.
Yes, that's the first song on the album.
Nice.
And then eventually it kind of came to this thing, was like, hey, like, you kind of do like all this stuff for the band already. Like, do you want to just join?
Like, might as well, right?
Yeah. And I was like, I would love to. Because at that point, I was basically Rob Zombie. I was like, producer, mixing. I did the music videos. I was like helping with like all the band management stuff and the marketing. I was like, yeah, dude, let's do this. I love the music. Everybody in the band is super cool. Johnny is an awesome vocalist and an awesome person. I was like, why not? You know, like I love everything about working with this band. So yeah.
See,
ended
that's
up
why I
joining.
wanted to hear the story because I love that story.
You're making my heart melt, Alex.
I love
true,
hearing
man.
that
Yeah.
stuff. I love it. And so with Hush album, I love the stories about these two songs, Chaos Machine and The Mountain. Maybe let's tell the stories of what those are about.
Yeah, Johnny, you go for it.
So Chaos Machine is an observation on a certain mentality which tends to lean nihilistic, and how that nihilistic mentality bleeds into their life and seems to produce nothing but chaos. So that's really what that song's about. It's an observation on just, and it's written in such a way to hope that people can adopt a more positive. I'm not saying you got to be white pilled, but man, you got to let go of that black pill. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about it. Like that explains the world to a T right now. It's like, man, I don't know. Like I told my daughter one day, some days I wish I could just drive down the road, take my laptop, my iPad, my watch, my phone, and throw it all out the window and keep driving. She goes, Dad, who you kidding? You're just as addicted as anybody. I'm like, yes, but I was around before we had any of this shit. And this is the problem with a lot of the world today. It's like, you know, just I can't even stand. I have to do it, and you guys have to do it for what you do. But I can't even stand to sometimes go on social media because everybody's just like all they do is negative stuff. And like last year, I was in Costa Rica for 3 months on the off season, just getting away from all the chaos, pun intended. And my brother calls me one day, right before I'm about to go surfing, and he goes, did you see the news? I'm like, no, and I don't give a shit. I'm going surfing. Have a good one. Because people are just so negative over everything right now.
Yes.
Not just them being negative, but everybody is making them negative about things that don't affect their life in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's the most ridiculous part. If it doesn't affect your life, who cares? Don't obsess over it. Don't worry about what somebody else does. Let everybody do them if they're not maliciously trying to hurt people. And if you don't like certain things, remove yourself from it or have some coping skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, people don't realize that. Go ahead, Alex.
It's funny that you mentioned like wanting to just take all your electronics and all your stuff and just kind of throw it away and kind of like live like life anew. We actually have one of the songs that got cut from the album is actually literally about that. It's called Control Alt Delete, and it is just
love that.
It's just about starting from zero. And we do plan to eventually put that song out, but it just didn't make it on this album. But that's exactly what that song is about. Literally what you just described. But
I love that.
Go for it.
It's funny you were talking about now it totally escaped my mind. I'm thinking about Control Alt Delete.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, it just went pew.
That happens. Happens to the best of us.
But I remember. So you were talking about getting in your truck with your laptop and your your music and just getting out of there and not having a phone. Well, it's kind of what the Mountain's about. It's about it's about going without all the trappings and going into the woods, into the mountains, and finding God. It's about finding the divine, finding, being one with, our Creator, as opposed to, being trapped by all the things of this world, And that's what it's about. Because when I go to with my family every year to the mountains, and when I go, man, I just feel like so at peace and so.
There is some serenity to the mountains and the creeks and the mountains and the forests and I love that stuff. That's what I love about Costa Rica. You got the beach, the mountains, the jungle, and You know,
all
it's
in one. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I've been there actually.
Yeah, and it's like you just feel like you don't give a shit what's going on all over the world because it doesn't matter.
None of it.
Like
None of
you're
it matters.
sheltered from it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have a military, do they?
They gave up their military to give free health care and also to give free education. And their health care is badass. I can testify to that.
Yeah.
Because I had 1 year I had a heart attack in Hawaii surfing, and the Hawaiian doctors, American Healthcare, screwed me up, and they caused a second heart attack a year later by them misplacing a stent, and the doctor cleared me. They didn't notice the whole year. Doctor cleared me. Okay, you're good. I went to Costa Rica. I went surfing. I was on a 10-foot wave and had a massive heart attack. Wow. I went to that hospital in Costa Rica. The cardiologist called my insurance company, my American insurance company, and said, hey, he needs this procedure right now or he's going to die. And they said, well, it takes 48 to 72 hours to process the claim, and it's a weekend, so it'll probably be longer. And the cardiologist's like, you don't understand. The reason I'm calling you instead of a receptionist is because he'll be dead by then. Nothing we can do. He hangs up the phone, says, doesn't matter. Even when they approve it, the U.S. insurance companies never pay us. And then what they did next was amazing. They put me in their social security system as if I was a citizen and treated me 100% for free.
Wow.
I'm not even somebody that lives there. And they did a way better job than anybody in America did. It was stellar healthcare.
That's amazing.
Even my cardiologist here in Florida said, hey, they did an amazing job. So, and I even looked at the bill if I had to pay for it. So the bill in Hawaii was $400,000.
Oh my God.
The bill in Costa Rica that I didn't have to pay was $15,000, and they did more work in Costa Rica. It's amazing. A third world country.
That's wild.
Do that, and they don't need a military. So that's
wild. Wow.
Right? You know,
you're making me want to move because there are mountains there, so I could live in peace there.
Oh yeah, there's definite it's all peace. Like, listen, where I go, it's all dirt roads, and the whole area goes down to the beach in 2 hours before sunset just to wait for the sunset.
Nice.
That's, life is yoga and surf there. And people are cool too, like the metal community, like everybody's.
So, I forget. Does Costa Rica stretches from the west coast to the east coast?
Yep, I haven't done the Caribbean side yet. I've done all of the Pacific side.
I was on the Caribbean side. Yeah,
I've been on the whole Pacific side, and there's a place on the Pacific side on the Osa Peninsula that basically, next to the Amazon, is the most untouched place on earth. It's a rainforest, and it's like, to go there, you have to go with a tour guide. It's a wet dock, so you jump out into the water, and there's crocs in the water. And
oh my God!
And you walk up onto saying you have a tour guide because, literally, either you're going to ruin the environment there, or it's going to ruin you if you're by yourself.
You will just die.
Jeez.
Yeah. We had a puma stalking us the whole tour.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
But he knew how to handle that whole situation. So we never worried about it. And then we were walking by this one bush. You couldn't even see it. I don't know if you know what a tapir is, but it looks like a horse. It's like the size of a horse. It was lying down in the bushes. You couldn't even tell it was there. When we walked by, it got scared and ran. It scared the shit out of us.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Right? So
my trip I went to the rainforest on the other side of Costa Rica. I don't have any crazy stories like that. It must not be the untouched one. It must have been one that was.
A lot of people say the Caribbean side's more of the ghetto side.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, it was beautiful, but I went on the sky ride through the canopy, and I didn't see one animal. Not one bird.
Oh no, where I stay, I have videos of it. Every morning I'd get woken up by the howler monkeys.
Oh,
And I don't know if you've
Whoa.
ever heard them. They sound, when they're up close, they sound like gorillas, and they're little monkeys, but you can hear them from like 3.1 miles away.
Wow.
Jeez.
And yeah,
That's how it sounds when I do like a power metal yell.
right? Yeah. There you go. And there's all kinds of nature on my side. You see stuff all the time, like on the Pacific side. So I want to check out the Caribbean side, but I've covered the whole Pacific side. I've gone to everywhere there is pretty much to go. And I found my favorite places. It's just like anywhere else. You have places that are okay, places that are great, and places that like San Jose, Costa Rica is not a place you want to go to if you're looking to go off the grid and escape. But like I go to Nassau, and that's off the grid, and you escape. And all you know is peace and tranquility and yoga and surf and cool people, and it's like
that's what the mountain's about, my man.
Exactly, 100%. And then it's funny because during the rainy season, I was renting a car. First time I was there during the rainy season. They have dry season, rainy season, and I like took the full coverage of the insurance. And they said, I asked, now, am I covered for everything? Because you go to a place like that, you do take the full coverage because they will jack you. Like you get a flat tire, it's like $500 on some piece of shit car. And so he goes, yeah, except if your car goes down a river. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Why would I drive it down the river?
Yeah.
And then I found out. Because when it's rainy season, you have to drive through the river to get to the other side of the street.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, it's a trip.
A wet one.
Oh, yeah, totally. So let's tell everybody how they can reach out to you guys on the web, socials, check out the music, check out anything else you have.
Yeah. The album's out. The Hush is out now on anywhere you like to consume music. We also have a physical album and merch if you're interested in that, and a digital version, all available on our website, themourningmusic.com. And we also have a Bandcamp. If you are a fan of Bandcamp, you can get the album from there. That's pretty much. And social media is the same, just The Mourning Music on all the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Is there anything I'm missing, Johnny?
I'm going to say something, though.
Yeah,
for all you people that want to assume it's MOU Mourning, not MOR Mourning.
Good point. It's not the time of day.
It's not the time of day. It's the sad emotion.
It is. like in the movie Inside Out.
Exactly.
That's how they'll remember it now. Watch.
Yeah, exactly. You remember that feeling you felt when the imaginary elephant dude disappears? It's that kind of mourning.
It's that mourning. Yeah. And they have to buy your merch or they can't listen to my show anymore.
Guys, did you guys heard it? You heard it here first. You got to buy a shirt. We got hoodies. There's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, but Dean, it'll be great if we can see you at a festival at some point. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's make it happen for sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for all you do, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you. We're so grateful
Thank you for having us. Yes, and hopefully we'll do it again next time once our new stuff comes out.
Anytime, just let me know.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.